What separates a Brit from a Welsh?
You should probably ask her that. I'm not gonna ask that. Here.
What?
You can just talk, he can hear you.
Oh.
What separates a Brit from a Welsh?
British
Besides being
refers.
different countries, but you're still part of the UK.
Yeah. I would normally say that I'm British because like I live in both England and Wales. Like my parents live in England and I now live in Wales and everything, but generally English people don't mind being called British, but some Welsh people really don't like being called British. It's just...
But so, is it considered to be like a different, almost different state or province, or is it it's its own separate country, but it's still under the UK? I've never understood.
It's like technically...
Britain versus UK.
It's technically a separate country, like England, Northern Ireland, Wales and Scotland are the 4 countries of the UK, but it's more similar to just like a different state.
Sure. So, it's UK or Britain that's doing Brexit?
Yeah, it's the UK as a whole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not just the Brits.
Yeah, it's the UK.
So how do you feel about that?
Oh, I voted against it. It was the first election I could vote in and I voted against it, and it was a really narrow majority. It was like 48-52 in favour of leave. And then our government just couldn't handle the fact that like leave got more support than remain. And yeah. Now the government is the way it is.
So how do you feel about your Parliament's still shut down?
It's shut down and they've called a snap election in October.
Oh, that got cancelled? I got voted against.
What, the election?
getting Boris
Oh, so
out of
no
there?
Shut it down.
Oh, I
No election.
don't know what's
That just
going on.
happened.
I have no idea what's going on. I think it's still shut down.
Okay.
I don't know what they're doing.
Are you a fan of the current Prime Minister?
No.
Or he hasn't? I mean, he's been in power what? A few months, 6 maybe at max.
He's been in power since July, like since the middle of July.
So it hasn't been months; it's been weeks.
Yeah, it's been weeks. And I mean, to start with, he had a lot of like public support because he was the mayor of London a couple of years back, and everyone really liked him as mayor of London. But he was then foreign secretary, which didn't go quite as well as mayor of London did, and then now he's prime minister.
And is that going well so far? It doesn't sound like it is. But
no, I mean Parliament
also
shut down, so I'd say that it's not going well.
Valley. When's the last time you were home?
Pardon?
When's the last time you were home?
I was last home in May.
Okay.
And I go home tomorrow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you literally came just for camp?
Yeah, literally.
How do you hear about a camp in random Minnesota?
So there's like organizations that you apply to, and they like, you do an application and then there's like this big like system of applications, and camp directors can like look through and see who they want to interview, and then that's how I ended up in Minnesota.
Was Minnesota your first choice?
You don't really get a choice. I mean, unless you go to a recruitment fair, but I didn't. But of all the states that I've spent a reasonable amount of time in, like, Minnesota's probably my favourite. But I did spend 4 months in Georgia, so that's the comparison.
Oh. Yeah, that's not a good choice. It's Georgia. Although, okay, I can't say Georgia's bad. I kind of have a bad, kind of has a, not a bad reputation, but I don't know, can't really say much since I don't get that right. One of the few states I haven't been to. But what did you think of Georgia?
Well, I was at the university there, the University of Georgia in Athens, Georgia.
Tell me about your church club.
I accidentally ended up going to a Baptist campus ministry whilst I was there because someone was just like, yeah, it's this thing and you know, you can meet new friends, and I was like, friends, I'm short on those, I'll go. And then I find out when I'm there that it's like this big Baptist church campus ministry, and I was like, this is weird.
Was it one of the Baptist churches where they do like snake sermons?
I don't...
Crazy shouting or no?
There was a bit of crazy shouting going on.
Valid. Yeah, I haven't seen it in person, but I've seen plenty of videos on YouTube, so...
Yeah, it got very crazy, and I was just kind of sat there like, okay, this is very different to home.
What's your faith denomination?
I mean, I went to a Church of England school, but I don't really associate with anything. I don't particularly care, is how I would put it.
That's totally valid. I wasn't sure what the primary denominations were in the UK, because I knew there's some Catholicism, but it seems like a lot of it wouldn't necessarily be Protestant, because that mainly came over to the US, but I could be mistaken.
I mean, Church of England kind of falls somewhere between Catholic and Protestant. Like, it's not like way back when you had like the Catholics versus the Puritans, and then the Church of England was kind of like a happy medium, like not as, you know, strict as the, and like anti-fun as the Puritans, but you know, it's not quite the Catholic Church either.
I suppose I didn't know that there was a Church of England almost denomination.
Yeah, it's the biggest like denomination. Like, most churches are Anglican, and the Queen is the head of the Church of England. Like, the monarch is always the head of the Church of England.
I did not know that.
And there's like a load of other things, like most of our schools that are like associated with a denomination are Church of England, because that's like the most common one.
So that'd be like your private schools versus public schools?
Well, our public schools or state schools are like, they can either be like secular, like no religion, or they can be either Church of England, or they can be Catholic. And then our private schools are just, I don't think many of them are faith-based. I've heard of like a Quaker private school, but I think most of them are just Church of England still.
Because I think, I could be mistaken, but I think Quakers were the original Baptists?
I think so. I don't really remember learning much about Quakers other than they existed. Well, exist.
Definitely valid. I have definitely heard that there's, this isn't even like a, yeah, America, independence thing. I just heard that there's not even really a whole lot of talk in the English curriculum about the American Revolution, other than like, it happened.
Yeah, I mean, so when I was 16, like we all do like exams when we're 16, and I got to choose which history syllabus I did, and I had the choice between Nazi Germany and the American West. So I went for American West, and it was a really weird syllabus because it like went from just after the Declaration of Independence to like 1890, but it excluded all wars.
Okay, so just kind of talked about what was going on and like the people and the culture.
Yeah, mainly about like various ways of people moving west. And
What was the time period that it was focused on? Sorry.
just after the Declaration of Independence to about 1890.
So, what did your curriculum teach you about the treatment of indigenous people in the U.S.?
I mean, not a whole lot. Like, we had a lot of lessons about like the meaning of buffalo, like the buffalo that were like roaming to like the indigenous people that lived there, but there wasn't really a whole lot other than like we were taught about reservations, and I can't remember like the name of it, but we were taught about one thing where like they had been banned from practicing like things that were to do with their own like culture and stuff, and someone like important to this like tribal group of tribes or whatever, I don't really know the word, but
Yeah.
had like said, oh, if you have anything that resembles like an eagle, like an eagle's feather, then like their guns cannot hurt you. And then so they all were wearing eagle feathers and had no other form of protection, and they just got shot, which wasn't very nice.
Nothing that happened between the American Revolution and the 1860s was very nice.
No.
Yeah, I can proudly say that my no one in my family was here during that time, so I don't have any ancestors that were in history books as shade. But not saying they weren't shade. They could have been. But yeah, America kind of has a shitty history for how the USA was founded.
Yeah, we
So
don't really learn much about it. We just kind of learn that, oh, these people like leave as like pilgrims for the US, and that's all we're gonna like learn about, because that at this point it then becomes American history, and we're only learning like British history and stuff. And
yeah, I mean,
we had a lot of history.
To learn when you've got a country that's been around for thousands of years versus a country
Yeah,
that's
we
around
had
for
to
400.
learn everything from Roman times up to basically present day. So we had a lot to
Sure.
cover. So, and then on top of that, we
In
also
civics, like parliament and everything.
yeah, we also expected to learn about ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, and the Aztecs for some reason. Like,
Interesting. The whole other side of the world.
yeah.
But I mean, I suppose ancient cultures. I mean, that's a good subject to learn about.
Yeah, we learn a lot about like ancient stuff. Like we tended to start with the ancient stuff and then work our way forwards.
Like, here's where the cultures were, here's where they are now. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, you learn about the ancient cultures and you learn where they're at nowadays.
Pardon?
You learn about where the ancient cultures were, what they were doing, and then where that area is now, geographically, what they're doing.
Yeah, like we learnt about, for example, like Roman Britain and like where that sort of is, and like all the things in the UK that you can like that were built by the Romans, so you can still see like some of our major roads.
Hadrian's Wall.
Yeah, we have Hadrian's Wall, you have like